The Dallas Cowboys put up over 600 yards on the offensive side, and a big part of it was because of the offensive line. The run game averaged 5.1 yards per attempt, had 168 total yards. The pass game was very, very good. Dak Prescott was not sacked at all, barely pressured over the game yesterday, and generally speaking, the offensive line had a fantastic day against a pretty good defensive line. So today we're going to analyze the tape of that offensive line. Let's get right into it. Check this one out. You got a 30-yard pass on 2nd and 9. Dak Prescott delivers a really, really nice pass. And of course, CeeDee Lamb makes a really, really nice catch. One-handed catch as his other arm was kind of being held. Just a beautiful job. But I do want to talk a little bit about the offensive line here because as you guys will see, Dak Prescott does almost get instantly pressured on this play. And I do want to say this is a good heads-up play based off of what the responsibilities of this play were before the linebacker actually makes the change. And I want to kind of talk about this here. So on this play, the tight end here is going to motion out of there. And basically, you're going to be in an empty formation with the 5 offensive linemen going up against basically 5 guys. Or at least there's 5 guys that these guys will be responsible for. Now, the initial slide is to the right, where the center right tackle basically take these 3 guys on here. Left guard's in a one-on-one, left tackle's in a one-on-one. It's super simple, but right before the ball actually gets snapped as the tight end goes into motion, you see the linebacker's going to step into the A-gap. And this changes things up a little bit. Because Tyler Smith can't really see past number 97. He doesn't really know what's going on way out here. All he knows is that another guy maybe shifts to the inside here. You got a guy coming here, another guy here. So Tyler Smith is actually going to step here to the inside linebacker right out of his stance. And he's going to make sure this guy is ultimately contained because that would be the easiest threat to the quarterback. Of course, Tyler Biadasz, Zach Martin do a really nice job seeing it and kind of just making the adjustment. Understanding the center, right guard, right tackle are responsible for the 3 guys. And as the linebacker is going to step up into the A gap to the left of the center, to me, this is great recognition by the right guard and center to still understand these 2 guys are theirs to be had. But I do like the fact that Tyler Smith also checks that linebacker. He also makes sure that the center has him prior to getting back over to number 91 there. He doesn't do a clean enough job. The quarterback is pressured a little bit, but do keep in mind when you're bringing 5 guys from a defensive perspective against an empty formation, the quarterback has to get the ball out. And he has to anticipate a little bit. And in this instance, he does a really nice job delivering a really nice, accurate pass to Dak Prescott. It's a pretty nice job right there. Let's go ahead and get into the next snap. In yesterday's game, it was Rico Dowdle that ended up having the big game on the ground. 12 carries, 79 yards, 6.6 yards per average, as well as 1 touchdown. And he had a couple of really nice runs on the touchdown drive that the Cowboys had. Let's talk about him a little bit and really break down some of these plays. Now, this one's kind of interesting because this is a split zone, but the quarterback's actually going to pitch the ball here to number 23 as opposed to just handing it off. And it does still look like it's inside zone. And I find that kind of interesting because most of the time when you run these split zone concepts, it's usually a handoff, but you can still see that the aiming point is still to the inside hip of the guard. And you can see Dowdle is going to do a really nice job to ultimately hit this to the outside. Really good vision on his part. This one picked up about 3.5 to 4 yards. But the next carry he had ended up popping for 21 yards. Just a really, really nice job to make a defensive end that's played a lot of football in the NFL. Just straight up making this guy miss. To me, beautiful job by Rico Dowdle. He 100% deserves credit for this one. Has a guy one-on-one, makes him miss. But the offensive line also do an equally good job. And I have to give credit where credit is due. In my opinion, this play is made by both of the tackles. Both 77 and 78 are going to make the play on this one. Now, the play really works because as Tyler Smith pulls over from the left guard spot to the right, the defensive lineman here is going to scrape over the top and he's going to follow that. I want you guys to watch that element of this play. Tyler Smith is going to pull to the right and that defensive lineman there is going to follow. And that really opens this play up because you get 2 guys that are basically going to go free in 63 and 77 because of the fact that that defensive lineman scraped over to the right. Now, with that being stated, if you guys watch number 77, watch him climb to the 2nd level linebacker and look at him seal this guy off. That's a really, really nice job by Tyron Smith to be able to seal the front side linebacker off on this play. Take it a step back. If you guys watch the right tackle in Terrence Steele, watch him get over to the left side. Now, he doesn't pull, but he does do a good job as well to kind of just flow to that same side. He's going to go find the defensive back here, and Dowdle actually cuts it right off of his butt. So To me, that's a really, really, really nice job. It's a big part of this play ultimately working. And even Tyler Biadasz is trying to get out there and find someone. Ultimately, doesn't really block anyone, but he gets out in front, right? And I think for the running back to be able to see your center out there trying to pick some people up, you can run off the back of him. It's a pretty nice job still. Offensive line does a really, really good job. This one picked up 21 yards. Let's go ahead and get to the next snap. So in yesterday's game, the Dallas Cowboys on the very first drive of the game went for it on a 4th and 2, and they ended up not getting it. The Dallas Cowboys actually ran a run to the inside. Now, initially when I saw this play, I thought it was a read option, but I don't think it was an actual read option for a couple of different factors, and we'll kind of talk about that here in a second. But first and foremost, Dak Prescott does kill a play, right? He's saying right here, kill, kill, kill. I think the broadcast crew pointed that out as well. So I'm not sure what the alternative play was. I'm not sure if it was some sort of pass, but the Cowboys did end up running the football. Dak Prescott checked into this run. So let's talk about this a little bit. It seems like the safety here is going to bracket CeeDee Lamb at the top here. And it also looks like you have some sort of man coverage across the board. And a run to the left of the formation actually does give you the numbers, as long as 78 is able to pick off the inside linebacker here. If that happens, you basically got 4 other guys that have to block 4 other guys. And technically, if there's only 4 defenders and there's 4 offensive linemen, that means there's actually 5 gaps to run through. So it makes sense that Dak Prescott actually checked into a run. From that perspective, it made sense. Now, so if you guys watch 78 here, he's going to do a great job actually getting up to 41 and taking him on. Now, the broadcast crew did point out Terrence Steele, and they said he made a mistake within this play. That is not correct. Terrence Steele actually does a really nice job taking number 41 and actually blocking him. Now, I think the issue within this play is that the Dallas Cowboys tried making this look like a read option, and the hope is that if you're going to make this look like a read option, the defensive end here would actually take a wider angle to possibly stop Dak Prescott. And he would be slow out of his stance. But this guy does not do that. In fact, this guy really shoots hard down the line of scrimmage, and he's actually going to be the guy that really gets to Tony Pollard first. So you can see that this guy ultimately gets to Pollard. Now, if this was a read option, Dak Prescott should have pulled the football. But this is what tells me that this was not, because we've seen Dak pull the football here. Right? There's no reason to hand the football off if this was a read option. So I'm confident to say this was a true run play, and this was not on Terrence Steele. Again, Steele blocks number 41 the exact way he's taught. The point of him touching 51 is to slow him down just enough that it makes him think that, hey, what if Dak Prescott actually pulls the football? So the hope is that this guy slows himself down enough. Of course, in this one, it doesn't work. He ends up just shooting it to Tony Pollard, and he ends up getting to Pollard. Now, of course, you can say the left guard, right guard don't get a great push, but you do got to keep in mind these interior defensive linemen for the Giants are pretty damn good, right? And between those 2 guys kind of holding up their blocks and number 51 crashing super, super hard, the play ends up not working. This one sucked, but I did like the aggressiveness by the head coach to want to go for it, to want to score touchdowns. It makes sense to me. Just wanted to break this play down a little bit because I don't think it's on Terrence Steele. Let's go ahead and get to the next snap. In order to have success down in the red zone, you have to design new concepts. You have to design new plays. You got to be creative when those moments matter. So from the 14-yard line, the Dallas Cowboys created one of those plays. Mike McCarthy drew it up, and CeeDee Lamb took it 14 yards to the house. To me, this is such a nice play by the Dallas Cowboys, specifically based off of how this was sold. If you guys watch the offensive linemen, everybody flows over to the left. It makes it seem like it's a run to the left. Even the tight end Schoonmaker on this one. Look at Schoonmaker number 86. And look at him sell this to the left. And then look at him flip it fully, turn all the way around, and basically be the lead blocker for the end around here to CeeDee Lamb. And then he does a really nice job blocking the backside cornerback. To me, it's just such a nice job by the offensive line. Such a nice job by the tight end to sell it. Really like how the offensive line blocked this. Really liked how the tight end did his part. The running back sold it. The receiver sold it. And of course, CeeDee Lamb executed it perfectly, as did the blocks up front. So really, really nice job. Absolutely love this one. Let's get into the next snap. So the Dallas Cowboys are at the 4-yard line, and you need space to be able to work. Right? The last thing you want to do is take a sack from the 4-yard line and ultimately have a safety happen. So Mike McCarthy draws up a really nice concept to get the Cowboys at least a couple more yards so they're able to get out of that area where you have to worry about possibly getting a safety. And once again, executed perfectly. Receiver at the top is going to run a circus route, and then Cooks is going to rub off of that and hit the outside. And at the same time, all of the offensive linemen are going to flow over to that same side, and the quarterback's going to roll over the top. And the entirety of this play is to get the slot wide receiver the football. Now, there is one other element to this play, and we'll talk about that from the end zone angle, but you can see it works perfectly. Brandon Cooks ends up picking up 9 yards on this play. The other element to this play that I found kind of interesting is the left tackle is going to ultimately seal off the backside defensive end. These guys are all going to step over here to the right, and they're going to let this defensive lineman basically go free, and he's going to shoot the gap, and it's going to be Tony Pollard, who's going to do a really nice job cutting this guy off. You know, Pollard hasn't had a lot of success this season running the football relative to some of his past seasons, but the guy's been a very good blocker. And never underestimate that. You know, if you're doing your job, as long as you're able to execute and do things that are required, you know, if you're running the football and you're averaging 4 yards per attempt, that's great. But when you're not getting the football and you're being tasked to block a defensive tackle, are you able to do it? And if you are you able to make sure the quarterback is kept clean? And in this instance, he does do a really nice job cutting off that 3 technique defensive tackle. Love the cut block, man. This is perfect. It's exactly how you draw it up. And of course, the quarterback delivers the pass to Cooks, and you picked up 9 yards. Really nice job. Once again, executing by the offense. Check this play out. You got a 15-yard run right here. Tony Pollard does a really nice job on this one. You're going to pick up 15 yards, but there's a element of this play that I kind of want to talk about a little bit. Dak Prescott here is making a check, and what he's doing is he's flipping the play, and he's running to the left. And this makes so much sense on so many different levels. And the play works, 15 yards. You know, first and foremost, I think one of the things with Tony Pollard is he's more of a zone runner to the outside than he is a power back or an inside zone running back. Not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying it makes more sense for him to be an outside zone type of running back. Now, here's the thing within this play as well that I want you guys to think about. So the defensive linemen initially line up where one guy lines up here in the 3 technique. These guys are obviously confused at the moment, and they're going to make the adjustment here where one D tackle is going to line up in the 1 technique. The other guy's going to line up in the 3 technique. And Dak Prescott's going to say hut. And if you guys watch this guy, he's going to jump just a little bit. So here goes Dak Prescott. He's going to say hut, and the guy jumps. And Dak Prescott sees exactly what he wants to see within this play. And he's going to make the adjustment. And the adjustment he's making is we're going to flip this play. Instead of this play being a zone run to the right, we're going to actually make this a zone run to the left. And the reason why is because you have a 1 technique on this side, and you got a defensive end lined up to the outside shade of the tackle. So if you run this play to the left, you have a much bigger gap here between the D tackle here and the D end here. Plus, if you get a good double team block here and the center is able to overtake the 1 technique and the left guard's able to reach up to 41, Tyron Smith is able to seal this guy out, or if this guy jumps to the inside, he can seal him off. You know Zach Martin's going to be able to get up here. You know the tackle's going to be able to get up to these 2 guys. So the play makes sense because you're relying on your center, who you know is a great zone blocking center. And in this instance, if you guys watch Tyler Smith in the center, Tyler Smith's going to get the right hand into the center. Tyler Biadasz is going to flip the hips. And just like that, you have a guy sealed here. You have a guy here, a guy here. You see Zach Martin gets up to the inside linebacker. Terrence Steele cuts the backside 3 technique off. And just like that, the zone run works. This is a really nice job right here by Dak Prescott to understand the bubble within the defensive line to ultimately pick up the 15 yards. It's a really nice adjustment. Let's get into the next snap. You got a split zone. This one's going to pop for 12 yards. A great job by Tony Pollard to be able to recognize the gap develop. Also breaks the tackle from the inside linebacker. Really nice job, generally speaking, by the right guard, right tackle, the center. Number 87, Ferguson's going to block the front side D end here. Just a really, really nice job. And of course, Pollard does a good job being able to recognize the 87 is going to cross his face, block the D end. And he has to go to the left side of that guy as he does there. Breaks an arm tackle and is able to pick up 12 yards. This was 2nd and 4. These are the type of runs that we expected Tony Pollard to have. Right, the last run that went for 15 yards, this one that went for 12 yards. This is what we've expected from a Tony Pollard caliber running back. It just hasn't worked out that way so far, but to me, I felt like the Cowboys definitely got on track this past game. Pollard had 55 yards, and Rico Dowdle had 79 yards, and together the guys averaged over 5 yards per attempt. Check this one out. Watch Tony Pollard and watch him recognize process and pick up the blitzing linebacker, and he shuts his ass down. The quarterback delivers a 34-yard pass to Brandon Cooks. Again, this is why Tony Pollard is in the game when he's in the game. It's because of blocks like this. All right, I can show you guys probably like 7 examples from this game alone of Tony Pollard doing a really nice job in pass pro. Check this play out here. Look at the formation that's ultimately shown to the defensive line. You got a safety playing right behind the nose. And look at the offensive line do a really nice job processing this and giving the quarterback the time to get the ball out. So really nice job. If you guys watch Tyler Biadasz, he's going to do a fantastic job taking the nose tackle, passing him off to the left guard, and then he's going to get back around and pick up number 24 here, who's blitzing. Tony Pollard also sees that kind of coming, and he's also right there as well, although I think Pollard may have missed a little bit. But that's a nice job by Tyler Biadasz to process that. It's a great job by Tyler Smith to also recognize that I need to take number 97 because the guy to my outside here is dropping off. So good job processing. And you see that the quarterback is ultimately able to stay clean, delivers a nice pass. And he picked up 8 yards on this 3rd and 9. It's a pretty nice job. Let's get into the next snap. Watch the block by CeeDee Lamb here on this defensive end. This play right here is going to pick up 8 yards. And CeeDee Lamb's a big part of this. It's a really, really nice job right there on number 55, Jihad Ward. You also see Tyler Smith do a really nice job getting out in space. Again, just a really nice job by both him as well as CeeDee Lamb, as well as the left tackle. I mean, watch the left tackle on this one. Pull out in front. Look at him crush this guy. Bam! Look at that. Look at him finish the block. 8 yards on this one. It's a great job right there by the guys up front. Let's get into the next snap. The Dallas Cowboys absolutely dominated the Giants yesterday. I mean, the 49 points speak for themselves, right? On top of that, the offense actually came out. They didn't play in the 4th quarter. But it was Dak Prescott that was really on fire yesterday. 5 total touchdowns. Ridiculous. And the offense line obviously helped him out as well. But really, I feel like Mike McCarthy's done a really good job ultimately opening up the playbook and letting Dak Prescott deliver on these passes, right? You see plays like this where Dak Prescott, 41 yards on this one. But he's throwing this like 48, 49 yards downfield. These are the type of things that Dak Prescott can do, and I'm glad that Mike McCarthy's allowing him to do it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap the video up with the final run here. This was with the backup players in, minus the left guard, as well as the right tackle, and the running back is technically the 2nd string running back, although, I would say Rico Dowdle and Tony Pollard are more of a 1-2 punch, as opposed to one guy being a true backup. But I want to show you guys this play because Dowdle does a great job making a man miss. Keep in mind, the Giants still have their 1st string defensive line, and they still have their 1st string defensive players in. You see big Dexter Lawrence right here. You see Jihad Ward. You see the other starting D tackle there. You see the linebackers as well. And you watch 73 here, Tyler Smith. Watch him crush the 3 technique on this one. Look at him put this guy into the ground. That power to physically move a guy against his will. And of course, Dowdle makes the safety right there, 21 miss. Just a really, really nice effort by him. Great overall job by the offensive line. Dak Prescott did his part. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing. We'll be doing a lot of O-line content on this channel. We'll definitely be covering the Cowboys weekly. But I do have a Tyler Smith video in the works. I think Tyler Smith has generational upside. So subscribe. Video's going to drop soon. And I will see you guys next time with another video.